Allow me to sing the sea shanty of my people in regards to Ubisoft's Skull and Bones. Remember, this was supposed to be the first quadruple A game that was ever gonna drop for the industry. It needed to be $70 for how gigantic this game was. And then it came out earlier this year, completely and totally flopped, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, seeing what the hell Ubisoft was putting on display for everyone. And now, here we are, a few months later, and the game is on sale for $10 at Best Buy. What in the blue hell is going on over here? Ubisoft's Skull and Bones went on sale for $10 as part of a promotional campaign at Best Buy just 6 months after the company's CEO described the game as a quadruple A in an attempt to justify the $70 price tag. Hey guys, you remember Sea of Thieves and how long that one ended up taking? Become a worthwhile experience? Well, we're just going to go ahead and speedrun that with fewer features, like not being able to swim as a pirate, but don't worry guys, it's going to be great. Oh, and remember when we had Assassin's Creed Black Flag? Yeah, remember that over a decade ago? Yeah, we got that ship combat out now. Why is nobody playing our games? Best Buy is running a promotion through August 18th. Yo! Is that in the lead up to Star Wars Outlaws? Oh my god, you know, giving that cold hand off to another bomb in the making. Where they're offering 10 games for $10 for 10 days. Yo, on the third day of the promotion, it was selling Skull and Bones for just $10. So what else was up there? Okay, so you had Sonic Generations. Is that Sonic Generations 2? Actually, you know, I'm kind of sad I missed it on that promotion. But Fitness, Boxing, Fist of the North Star, and last year's Madden, that's what was on sale? Oh my god. Oh my god. That $10 promotion comes in the wake of Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot describing the game as a quadruple A during the company's Q3 sales call for fiscal year 2024 back in February, about a week ahead of Skull and Bones release. Guillemot was asked by one of the investors, could you maybe unpack the decision to price it at $70? You've certainly emphasized that it's designed for a lot of live services. That drove the decision to make the game pay to play when you could presumably limit the size of the player base and thereby PRI in the game. Guillemot responded, you will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. You can see it on the market today. It's a very big game. We feel that people will really see how vast and complete the game is. It's really full triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run. But apparently that long run only lasted a month. Okay, or was it just dead on arrival? I mean, it's not like it cost the company that, around $200 million to make the game. Oh, fantastic. So that was the first bomb of the year. And then Star Wars Outlaws, which is going to be coming out in the next week or so. That's going to be strike number 2. But what about strike number 3 in the form of Assassin's Creed Shadows? I set all of this up to go into Assassin's Creed Shadows because even without all of the baggage of Outlaws or of Shadows, I was going to call it Sea of Thieves, but Skull and Bones died a death because Ubisoft isn't the company it was 10 years ago at this point in time. They gave up on innovation a long time ago and have just been simply riding the wave of success that they set themselves on 15 years ago. And now they're getting themselves caught in a web of lies. And this one right here is just cherry on top. You remember a couple of weeks ago, the Ubisoft Japan account put out this big apology or condemnation, depending on the way that you read it, of Japanese gamers and how they were trying to clarify their stance when it came to making Assassin's Creed Shadows, saying that, oh yeah, in the Assassin's Creed franchise, we strive for authenticity, but we don't, aim for historical accuracy. Until you would get a couple of slides later where they were saying, we always aim for historical accuracy. And it was like, what are you guys trying to say with this one? It didn't end up going over all that well. And now you have a lead producer coming out and saying, we're trying to create a game that is authentic as possible. Then, why do you have Yasuke as a samurai? Why do you have a bunch of different Asian architecture in Japan where there's a very distinct style already set during the time of Nobunaga? Anyways, press X to doubt in the wake of numerous controversies related to the game's historical accuracy. Assassin's Creed Shadows lead producer Karl Onnée has claimed that one of the game's main priorities was to make sure it shows proper respect to Japanese culture. You're out of your mind. Onnée put forth the assertion while speaking to the games industry.biz's Christopher for Dring regarding the development process behind Ubisoft's next Assassin's Creed entry. Speaking of the game's supposed dedication to properly representing its historical setting, the producer asserted, "We're trying to create a game that is authentic as possible. It's something we take pride in." Sure it is. A lot of pride. Just not, when it comes to quality of their work. They have a different meaning of the word pride over there. And it is also a very long process. When we build a Japanese house from feudal Japan, it is very different from, say, a French medieval house or an English one. Or when you build a vaguely Asiatic house. Don't worry about it. So you have to learn as artists where things go inside a feudal Japanese house. Maybe the food doesn't go there. You have to get everything you need to know and learn. That's a long process. But yeah, okay, cool. So you want to get architecture and food placement accurate. You just don't need to get any of those pesky historical figures correct at all. Nah, don't worry about it. To this end, Onnée turned to his team's research process, therein noting that one of the most important aspects of their work was apparently making physical visits to Japan proper. Yeah, to talk with such intelligent scholars like Thomas Lockley, or that one broad from the University of, I think, Toronto or something like that. Her expertise was on man-boy relationships in feudal Japan. Those are the type of people that you want to listen to, instead of the one actual Japanese historian about the time saying that, Yasuke was more or less a retainer, kind of a novelty of Nobunaga. I don't know why, if you're going to be presenting anything in the proper historical context, you would have him painted as a samurai, because that makes no sense at all whatsoever. No, you're making physical visits to Japan, so that's great, I guess. It's not feudal Japan, obviously, but it's good to go on site, because it is only then that we realize it is very different to what we think it is, said the producer. It's very interesting, because when our team went there, one of the things that jumped out was the forests and how they are. We noticed we had made some forests based on Greek landscape. Well, there's oh my god, I don't know how familiar you are with a globe, but Greece and Japan, not exactly the closest and most proximal dots when it comes to geographical similarity on this cerulean death orb we're all hurtling through space on. I don't know how you could think those are the same, but when we went, we noticed it's very different than what we'd done, and we had to change it. Holy Christ. You guys thought that Greece and Japan, one's a peninsula and the other one's an island nation. You're going to have similar forests. Jesus. I don't necessarily find that stuff out when doing historical research. I mean, you're doing historical research, but that's what you landed on for a protagonist. Interesting. From there, the producer was then pressed by his host as to how the team was approaching their specific development of a title set in a nation not their own. Yes, Ubisoft is a French company. Their headquarters currently residing in Montreal, Paris, but they also have their sister site in Montreal. Obviously, when we make a game, we are trying to appeal to a global audience. We know you are. That's why you made the changes that you did. Since we're making a game in Japan, we do hope to appeal to more Japanese players. That's why you had to condition them. Just didn't end up working out all that well for you. We want to build something that they want to see and play and recognize their own country. Wow, you have the audacity to say that, huh? As referenced above, Onnée's claim of authenticity regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows is questionable assertion at best, and an outright lie at worst, as the game has been swamped in controversy regarding the approach to feudal Japan's history ever since the first trailer. Yeah, exactly, and we've been talking about that ad nauseum ever since that trailer dropped. I heard rumors of this beforehand, of when it was a codename Assassin's Creed Red, where you were going to play as a black samurai, and I didn't run with the story, mostly because I thought, Ubisoft is a woke company. They're a stupid company. I didn't think that they would be that woke and that stupid, but here we are a few months later, still talking about this nonsense. But it's kind of crazy, right? Over these past few months, Ubisoft has been trying to play the victim on this, trying to recontextualize all of the crap that they're doing, whether it's stealing iconography from a rifle corps, saying that, oh, we're big sorry for that, we'll get rid of it, and then getting exposed for not getting rid of it, not consulting with proper historians, even though they say that they take their historical research very seriously. You would think this would be the most toxic game that's out there. The way that Ubisoft talks about it, oh my god, they just, that's daily threats, daily negativity we see out there all the time, until you realize that new player sentiment analysis contradicts Ubisoft's claim that Assassin's Creed Shadows has positive community sentiment. Oh geez. So they're lying again. A new player sentiment analysis conducted by Player XP contradicts Ubisoft's claim that Assassin's Creed Shadows has positive community sentiment. I mean, is there anybody trying to spin a yarn that there's something positive to be gleaned from this? Like, even the people that are more neutral or just want to distance themselves from any toxic culture war behavior online aren't even excited for this game. They've been cold on the Assassin's Creed franchise for a long time. So even your defense force isn't even popular or excited about your game. Like, what the hell are you doing? During the company's quarter one fiscal year 2025 sales conference in July, the investor from HSBC asked about how pre-orders for both Outlaws and Shadows compared to previous Ubisoft releases. Guillemot responded, "We don't disclose nor comment on pre-orders usually. What we can say is we are observing and measuring that our two big titles actually are among the most awaited games in the industry, and they are enjoy very strong positive community sentiment overall." Yeah, that's also telling me that not a lot of people are pre-ordering your game, because you can say, we don't normally talk about how many numbers are out there, but we can tell you, hey man, it's right up there with a lot of our greatest hits, so it's trending in the right direction. They're saying awaited games, positive community sentiment. I don't think so. However, Player XP's community sentiment report for Assassin's Creed Shadows disputes the claim. What overall sentiment calculated, which represents the voice of the players, is -13. Yeah, I don't really think anything with negative is going to be spun as a positive. Breaking down the sentiment on social media platforms, it has a -14 rating on YouTube, where the majority of interactions came from. Okay, a -7 on X, +2 on TikTok, and -55 on Facebook. That only factored in 105 interactions over there. Yeah, mostly because boomers are like, I like the Assassin's game with the things and the sneaking, and what's the what that. The samurai is a what? Furthermore, the analysis detailed, and the biggest talking points are the keywords that had negative sentiments, including Japan, Ubisoft, Yasuke, and history. Player XP noted that they have a significant negative sentiment associated with historical elements, being the most negative at -45. This has been driven by players expressing concerns about the historical accuracy and cultural depiction. Additionally, the character Yasuke has received a negative sentiment score of -17 from the player community, aligning with the themes. Oof, that's not good, man. That is definitely not good. And there you can see the graph right there. But later in the report, Player XP detailed that one of the primary areas of negative sentiment emerged around the monetization category. Yeah, that was something else that was brought up at the same time of the trailer. And oh yeah, Ubisoft's incredibly sketchy release practice for the game, because yeah, you can pay $70 for the base game, or you can get the deluxe edition for $110, you can get the ultimate edition for $140, or you can sign up to Ubisoft Connect and only pay $17 a month. Go to hell. Notably, the monetization topic is a recurring source of dissatisfaction, because yeah, the exact same practices are being applied to Star Wars Outlaws. Oof. The player community has voiced frustration about Ubisoft's perceived prioritization of monetization strategy over player experience, and the sentiment that is influencing the reception of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The consistent negative feedback regarding monetization strategies suggests that players feel unheard, affecting their overall trust in Ubisoft. And yeah, at this point in time, I anticipate, okay, because we've seen gameplay, we've seen a lot of stuff on Star Wars Outlaws, and brother, that's gonna bomb. I don't know if it's going to be as a spectacular of a bomb that Skull and Bones was, but I don't see it lighten up any sales charts. I could see it lighten up a few bargain bins in a few months' time, but when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, that's going to be a little bit more difficult to try to prognosticate on, because yeah, for as much as the general person, okay, the general vocal gamer has has turned on Assassin's Creed in recent years, the games still do well when it comes to overall sales. Like Odyssey, Valhalla, Origins, all of those reboot ones, they sold relatively well, you know, ending up by the end of the year in the top 10 when it came to releases. When it comes to Shadows, though, we have not seen, at least when it comes to a AAA release, it's been a long time since we've seen this much consistent negativity and self-owns when it comes from a company. So I would imagine that it's going to have terrible knock-on effects, but it's going to be really interesting to see the closer we get to release. The fewer pre-orders and pre-sales that come out, the more overall dire situation that Ubisoft finds itself in towards the end of the year. All I'm saying is it's going to be a very interesting story to continue to follow, especially when Ubisoft continues to make these unforced errors. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.